All right, so $250,000. So here's the claim. You're able to open up an LLC, walk into a bank, ask them for funding, and get approved for $250,000. Now, that's the claim. Now, I hate to break it to you guys, but I am going to be the bearer of bad news today. And I want to break down why I don't want to say that this is completely wrong, even though, in my opinion, I think the way that it's presented, it is. But I want to give you more so a different angle on how you want to look at the right way, at least from all the clients that we've been working with, on how you can actually go about getting access to bigger credit lines. Now, I do want to preface by saying the following. I don't think that the information that's being given is necessarily malicious to hurt people, even though it does. I just think that it comes from a place of the people that are giving it either are leaving out details because they don't know what they're talking about, or they just flat out don't truly understand the process. And so I hope to bring a little bit more clarity to this conversation here today. And so I'm going to give you a couple points on why I believe this is wrong, what you can do about it. And so here's the reality. 99.9999999%, it's a lot of nines, of business credit approvals are going to really be based off of three key things. It's going to be based off of the business structure, more importantly, the positioning of how the business is, or how the position or how the business looks in the eyes of the bank. It's going to be determined on the bank's lending appetite and how that remains congruent, or I should say aligned, to the industry that you're looking to get funding for. Don't worry if this sounds gibberish. We're going to be breaking this down here in just a second. And then lastly, it boils down to the owner or the owner's personal credit profile. And so I'm going to give you guys a real world scenario. Let's say that you are surfing YouTube, and believe me, there is a lot of content on YouTube, right? Some of it is better than others. Not my place to say which one is one that I would stay away from, but that's why I'm making this video. But let's say that you're looking at let's say, piece of content from a creator online who will kind of leave, whitewashed. We won't name them. And they say, hey, you can get up to X amount of funding in 5 days or less with a brand spanking new LLC, right? You take your, let's say, real estate or your trucking, let's say, business into that bank, and they tell you, hey, we actually are asking for financials. Or, hey, we can't fund your business at this time because of said reasons. And so now you kind of go marching out of the bank saying there's something wrong with my business, or there's something wrong with that bank, when really what it was is you just didn't have these three core things put into place, right? The business potentially wasn't structured properly. You maybe went to a bank where, whenever I say lending appetite, I'm referring to what their portfolio mainly consists of. And so sometimes you'll go to a bank and you're trying to get them to approve you for a credit line or a couple of different credit lines for, let's say, your trucking business, if we're kind of staying alongside that thread. And really what they specialize in is real estate and construction. Or really what they specialize in is e-commerce, manufacturing, and storefront, right? It doesn't necessarily at this time have to do so much with the business, although that does play, a piece into it. It has to do also with the bank that you're selecting. It all has to, again, become congruent. And then lastly, and if I had to put a little asterisk next to this, not to say that it is the most important piece when we're looking at like what I call like the tripod here. But look, you can have, and I see this all the time, we have businesses that come to us day in, day out. And by the way, if you need help getting your business structured properly, helping you get access to credit lines so that you can inject that capital back into your business, look, link is down below, right? I don't got to say it. But or rather, we have a lot of people that when they come to us, they think, okay, if I have a business that's producing $1 million, or if I have a business that's, producing $2.5 million, I've been in business for 7 years, surely I'm not going to have to personally guarantee. That couldn't be further from the truth. You're still, again, 99.99999% of the time, when you're going for traditional funding, again, this is banks and credit unions, the business owner's credits, which in this case, it's your FICO score, is going to be looked at to determine whether or not your business is going to be lended to. This is, I like to refer to it also as kind of like co-signing on behalf of your business. Now, If you're watching this and you're thinking, Irv, are there actual products out there that are EIN only? And are there actual products out there where I can not have to use my personal credit? Just I completely want to separate my personal credit. Really, there's two instances, guys. I'm gonna give them to you now. First instance is you're probably gonna go the MCA route, merchant cash advance, but you guys know what those factor rates, those are awful. Like $50,000 on a 1.3, 1.4, 1.4 factor rate is probably gonna cost you $25,000, $30,000 just to pay that back. That's expensive money. Second route is if you want to go again, sexy EIN only type of stuff, it's just going to be trade and vendor accounts. It's not going to be the true cash value stuff that you're looking to get when we say true cash value, it's if you're getting a $50,000 credit line from a bank that's as good as cash, meaning you can use that anywhere. You can use that to fund a real estate project. You can use that to fund, if you're covering payroll, you can use that to purchase vehicles, like whatever it may be. This is why you never want to ignore the fact that you just got to get your personal credit right. Stop what I would say, ignoring the fact that personal finances is a direct correlation in the eyes of the bank, whether we like it or not, right? No one's above that, of how the business is going to function based off of all of the data points that they have. And so even if it takes you a little bit longer to get your credit right, bare minimum 680 or above, we'll probably do a whole separate video just on what a credit profile needs to look like on the personal side, just to at least get rolling. The second thing here is if you have a legit business with legit numbers, you want to be showing that, right? I think that a lot of us are, tend to, and when I say us, I mean existing businesses, not someone who maybe just opened up an LLC. I'm talking about those of us who have been running a legit business. We've been filing our taxes. We kind of get caught up in this notion of, let me see how much funding I can get without having to show my financials, or let me see how much funding I can get without having to show my books. And I think that this is where kind of like the gap in the information comes in, right? Where it's fine if you want to, take it to a certain point where it's most banks are going to cap you at 50K per product, right? If you're not having to present financials. But as a business owner, just business owner to business owner, why would we want to stop there? Like, is that really what you want to settle for? If it was between a $50,000 credit line and a $150,000 credit line, and all you had to do was either show a P&L to, again, show that you are a legitimate business, show your tax returns, again, to show that you are a legitimate business that's profitable, and show some type of income statements, right? Or even some bank statements. Why wouldn't you want to do that? I constantly tell our clients, if you have the financials, that's one of the strongest muscles that you can flex. Again, assuming everything else lines up. And by everything else, what we just finished breaking down, your business is structured properly, you're going to the right bank or financial institution, and you have credit. The icing on the cake is you presenting the financials. Gone are the days where you can just go into a bank and just say, hey, I want $150,000, $200,000 worth of credit lines without having to show financials. Now, can we get into the nuances of, well, I just want business credit cards? Yes. But you guys remember, we did a video on this. We'll probably link it somewhere in here where we're talking about credit card stacking. That's base level. Those of us that want to start playing bigger ball, I'd say once we're around 250, 300, that's when you really want to start taking a look at some different options. That's when you want to start taking a look at business term loans. That's when you want to start taking a look at SBA loans. That's when you want to start taking a look at business lines of credit. You can only play at the 0% business credit card level for so long. Now, if that suits your needs, then 100%, keep playing that game. But again, if you're a business owner that's looking to scale and really take this thing to the next level, believe me when I tell you, start getting all of your financials organized. You're going to thank yourself later. The business that you're looking to build is going to thank you because you're becoming the CEO and you're becoming the owner that your business needs. You're not a fly-by-night type of business. And I hope that you don't think of yourself like that. Now, one last thing that I wanted to add on to why I think that this notion is wrong before I give you guys some kind of like some key takeaways and some practical stuff that you can use is buying H Corps or season Corps completely bypasses you having to show financials. Couldn't be further from the truth. If I had $1 for every time I had to speak with a business owner that bought some corp out of Wyoming, that bought some corp out of Colorado, that bought something out of Nevada, and they took it to a bank and the bank was still asking for financials, guys, I probably wouldn't need to make these videos anymore. I would be just retired, just collecting that like a pension. Hey, okay, did it not work for you? Yep. Let's add you to the list. Here's how this works. Whenever someone is buying an H Corp, they think that just because they have the age of the LLC, they walk into a bank, they give it to them, and the bank is gonna say, oh, wow, you've been in business for 10 years. Yeah, that's all that we need. You have a 680, 690, 700 credit score. That's all that we need. 9 times out of 10, you're still going to have to go through the same process that someone with a brand new LLC has, which is, again, you're just going to be capped out at the business credit card level, right? You're still playing small ball. And if you're wondering, well, Irv, what about these people that are selling H Corps? Like, isn't there some validity to that? Doesn't that actually work? The only time that that works is if you are buying a business. Don't misconstrue and don't confuse buying a business with buying an aged or seasoned corp. When you're buying a business, you're most likely inheriting the talent, you're inheriting the assets, you're inheriting what the business owns. And then you're also, if the transaction was done correctly, you're also inheriting the age with the financials that the business has been able to produce. That's not going to be $5,000, ladies and gents. That's not going to be $10,000, which is what some of these H Corps typically go for, $5,000 to $15,000. When you're buying the H Corp, the whole thought, methodology, science behind it is that the age is going to be enough for you to magically unlock all of this funding potential. But remember, if a bank says, okay, you've been in business for 4 years, and let's say you restructured the business, you're now the owner of it, you have strong credit, and you've been in business for 4 years, they're gonna say, okay, cool. How much in terms of revenue has your business been generating? Now, if it was a dormant LLC that was the person who sold it to you, they were just paying the bare minimum with the fees, and there's obviously no financials running through it. And a little pro tip here is if someone is selling you an H Corp, $5, $10, $15, $20,000, and it's quote unquote coming with credit attached to it or financials, run. Just run. I'm gonna call it what it is. That it is a blatant scam. I'm gonna save you some money just from this video right here. Run. So if you're taking that LLC to the bank, rest assured that they are going to want to see financials for it. And if you can't show financials for it, then guess what? We are back to step one, which is, again, having to apply for business credit cards. Now, there are some partial truths to this that I do want to break down that I think are important to you because, again, I don't want to, and I haven't mentioned anyone in particular that's kind of like spreading this information because it's just out there, right? There's no hiding from it. I see it on my For You page the same way that you do. And so if you have an LLC or corp that's brand new, you can get access to, again, stated or app-only type of business funding. We've covered it on this channel, but we haven't hid from the fact of the work that needs to be laid down in order for you to get approved for some of these credit lines. Your business 100% needs to be structured correctly. You 100% need to be going to the right financial institutions, and you 1000% need to have the right credit profile, again, on the owner side, and also as you start to scale on the business side so that you can put this thing on rinse and repeat mode. Now, remember, you're going to mainly get approved for business credit cards, but typically not business lines of credit or business loans unless you have the age and financials to back it up. Now, there is a little sidestep to this that I do want to say is, and this isn't by every bank, and this also has to do a lot with the climate that we're in the economy, is if you would have asked me the same time last year, were there banks that were offering more of the no-doc stuff, mainly on the business line of credit side? Yeah. I mean, Truist was one of them. Fifth Third was one of them, where you can kind of get away with it with just having the age, and you can kind of get away with it with just having a relationship. Those two things still are very much real. We're just starting to see the amount starting to come down, right? We're not starting to see $100,000 business line of credit with no age, no income, crappy credit. So the threshold, or rather the bar, the standard is starting to go up. So now you have to be running a legit business. You have to know your numbers, and preferably they're going to want to see at least 2 years or more on the LLC and at least 6 months or more if you have a relationship with them. Now, I want to give you some takeaways, right? Some practical things, some best practices. I have 4 on here. Number 1 is a proper business structured with strong personal credit always, always, always comes first. That should be your priority. I hope that has been the message that we've been able to drill, not just in this video, but as you guys maybe look through my content or as you guys see some of the content that we've been putting out, you can see, okay, there's a common thread here in Irv's videos. There's a common thread here on why his clients are able to get funded. There's a common thread here on the case study that he brings. The common thread is a proper structured business with an owner's strong personal credit profile going to the right financial institution that's, again, looking to fund that line of work, because it's not a one size fits all. That's how you're able to unlock breathtaking scale when it comes to funding. The second thing that I want to bring up here, best practice, is make sure that the financial institution you are seeking capital from actually works with your industry or line of work, which kind of ties into the first point. Third point is if you're okay, again, if you're okay with just 0% business credit cards, then don't even worry about what I just finished mentioning in this video. You can 100% get those just having a brand spanking new LLC. Those are done like clockwork. We do those day in, day out when we're helping a business owner scale. Those are easy at the 0% business credit card, 12 to 18 months, by all means. But if you're the type of person that's looking to take this thing to the next level, you want to buy equipment, you want to cover payroll, you want to buy real estate, start thinking long-term and start thinking business lines of credit. Start thinking SBA loans, start thinking SBA line of credit. And then lastly, have a plan ready for your future rounds of funding and on getting different type of funding options. Organize your financials, your bank statements, and track your money. So my key takeaway with this whole thing is I want you to become a more structured business owner so that when you walk into a bank, you can walk in confidently and tell them, this is what I do. This is how much revenue either we've generated or we're projecting to generate. And you can just give that off in just a 30,000 foot overview. If someone asks you, how is your business generating revenue? Where's your money going? What are the costs of goods sold? What are your margins? Like, what's your net? Like, you should be able to just sound that off, right? And if you're not there yet, that's okay. That's why our channel exists. That's why you have other creators where they talk about taxes. They talk about how to build an actual business. You want to keep educating yourself, but the main catalyst here is going to be you, because you can have 2 different people exposed to the same information and get wildly different results. And the person that's going to get the result is the person that actually puts that information to use the right way. So I hope that this video finds you well. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.